The meeting included Republicans, U.S. Senator John Cornyn, and U.S. Representatives Tony Gonzalez and Monica de la Cruz, along with Democratic Congressmen Henry Cuellar and Vicente Gonzalez. De la Cruz, who represents McAllen, told Border Report it was a successful call. She said the Biden administration has promised to look into what they can do to force Mexico to comply with the 1944 International Water Treaty.
So the conversation went very well. The secretary understands the impact that the lack of water has had for our South Texas region, but he sees how this impact is really a national issue.
So Mexico owes water to the Rio Grande. Water scarcity forced a 51-year-old sugar mill in Santa Rosa to close earlier this year. De la Cruz says that shortages could translate into lost economic output of nearly $1 billion this year, according to a recent Texas A&M report. On Tuesday, Hidalgo County Judge Richard Cortez issued a disaster declaration due to the drought and the water situation. And joining us now live is Sandra Sanchez of Border Report to help talk through this issue. So Sandra, what was the significance of today's meeting and was anything decided?
Hi, Sonia. Lawmakers locally have been calling for the Biden administration to take notice and actions as this is becoming a crisis situation. Mexico has paid barely 1 year's worth of water it owes the United States this 5-year cycle. Today's phone conversation with Secretary Blinken took it to the highest levels of government. Congresswoman de la Cruz says Blinken has promised to have another call with them in a week. In the meantime, the Biden administration is examining, quote, what legal action and punitive actions the U.S. can take against Mexico in order to get them to comply with the treaty, she told me.
Alrighty, so Sandra, the sugar mill shut down a few weeks ago. What other crops and industries could be affected next?
Well, she says she's very concerned about the citrus industry in South Texas, and that could really affect consumers because the price of oranges and other citrus could shoot up at the grocery stores, and local growers could suffer significant losses.
So, Sandra, lastly, how will the drought declaration make cities and counties eligible for state or federal funding?
Well, it makes entities eligible for both federal and state help, but not individual farmers and growers. Specifically, federal funds will be available to build infrastructure here in South Texas for water use. But De La Cruz says the infrastructure won't be helpful if there is no water from the Rio Grande to flow to crops and this region. Live in the newsroom, Sandra Sanchez.
A dangerous situation for certain. Sandy, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.